What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Balls in Your Face, the podcast. We're very excited for this special episode because it's the NBA Finals special. As you can see from our tablecloth, it's an NBA court with the NBA logo. Pretty cool. As always, my name is Christian. I will be your host. And to my right, we have...
It's your boy, Zeal.
To my left...
You already know it's Josh.
And we're going to dive right into everything NBA, everything Finals, because there's a lot of news. The Lakers are up 2-1 in the Finals against the Heat. And let's dive right into Game 1.
What a crazy game it was, Game 1, guys. The way Game 1 went, you guys would have thought the series would have been a sweep. Just some key stats I wanted to point out right from the jump. Anthony Davis dominated from the beginning. He had 34 points, 9 rebounds. LeBron finished 25 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists. On the Heat side, Jimmy Butler finished 23 points, 8 of 13 field goals. Bam and Dragic, I'll get to them in a little bit, but... It was a very bad game for the Heat. Only bright spot I feel like they had was Kendrick Nunn had 18 points. Guys, for me, story of the game. Heat went up in the beginning. They were up double digits. I think it was 28-10 around there. And from there went straight downhill. Lakers ended up winning. They were winning by 32 at one point. Do you know how bad Do you know how bad we played to be down by 32?
You know how good you have to play to be up by 32?
Yeah, it was just a bad game. Duncan Robinson, oh man. He had 0 points. I'll say this though, I mean he had 0 points game 1. The amount of attention he draws, everyone was coming to him game 1, but guys, key stat. Lakers out-rebounded the Heat 54-36. 54-36. Let that sink in. They almost had a 20 rebound advantage. That's definitely not going to work. 9 offensive rebounds, but guys, let's talk about the injuries. Bam only played 21 minutes. Dragic only played 15 minutes. Dragic tore his plantar fascia. And guys, he's probably going to be out for the series. Let's just be honest. He's going to be out for the series. And then Bam, I mean, right now, Game 4, he actually got upgraded to questionable, but he didn't play Game 1, only played 21 minutes. Game 2, he was out. Game 3, he was out. But those are 2 key injuries, so definitely what we saw from Game 1 is that we knew going into the rest of the series, if the Heat were going to have their 2 players in Bam and Dragic, we knew Jimmy Butler was going to have to be more aggressive. So that's why Game 1 we saw 13 field goals. I definitely think that had to be an uptick in his game. What did you see, Josh?
So for me, basically, including the injuries, they were in for the game. They were in when they were down by 32. Bam Adebayo was playing when they were down by 32, so we're not going to act like he was hurt and wasn't playing. The Lakers were just on their A game, man. They were balling. They were shooting their threes. They had 11 threes made in the first half, which is they don't do that on a regular game basis. So they were just on their A game. They were out-rebounding them. They were bullying them in the paint. They had no identity in the paint. The Heat had literally no identity in the paint. Like I said, coming into this series, the focus is going to be on the Lakers' bigs, what they can do to the Heat. And Game 1 just showed how much they can just bully them. They just bullied them, threw them wherever they wanted, and they did whatever they truly wanted to do. The score got closer towards the end of the game because it was just pretty much meaningless minutes. It was meaningless minutes, and that's when Kendrick Nunn. Yeah, that's when Kendrick Nunn got all those points.
We'll call him the bright spot of the game.
He was starting for them. He started all games in the regular season for the Heat and then comes into the playoffs because he had COVID and things like that. He really lost his role. Yeah, he had COVID. So it took him a little while to get to the bubble. It's good to see him back at least. There are a few bright spots. Jimmy Butler had 23 points in that game. So ultimately, though, the Lakers were just killing them. LeBron James almost had a triple-double. Anthony Davis was just too dominant for them because Bam could not withstand being in the paint with Anthony Davis. And, now he's hurt, and we're going to get into the takes in Game 3, but he didn't play Game 2 or 3, but he played Game 1, and he was just getting thrown around. For him to have 8 points, that's a big dub for the Lakers, and they got a big dub at the end of the game.
Well, first of all, between the 2 injuries, I think they're going to be able to withstand the Dragic one a little bit. He's been their leading scorer in the playoffs with 21 points per game. But like you said, Kendrick Nunn did start the regular season. He was first-team all-rookie, so it's not like they're just throwing a guy in there to fill in his spot that's not ready. Kendrick Nunn, he has some potential. He averaged 15 points in the regular season, so now's his time to shine, man. Like we said, he came into the bubble, had COVID. He wasn't able to get acclimated. Playoff start, they always tighten up their rotation, and he actually fell out of the rotation. So now he has his time. I thought going into game 2, I thought Kendrick Nunn would actually start, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Tyler Hero actually took the starting lineup. But the Bam one, man, I thought that was going to definitely be the harder one for them to overcome, just to put a body on Anthony Davis. I know Anthony Davis, he manhandled everyone game 1. But I think going into game 2, man, you saw with Bam not in there what Anthony Davis was able to do. So, yeah.
I mean, moving on to game 2, Lakers dominating game 1, and they came out here, and it was pretty much the same thing happening. They didn't have a big of a lead at 32 points, but they ended up winning 124-114, going up 2-0 on the series. And like I said, the Lakers are just too much for the Heat when they want to be. When they want to be, if they play the way they need to play, they got it. And that game, they didn't have as hot as a shooting game as they did in game 1. But the Lakers were just knocking down their shots when they needed to and abusing the paint. LeBron finished with 33 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Anthony Davis had 32 points and 14 rebounds, truly just owning the paint because there wasn't too much perimeter shooting from them two, but they were just driving into the paint, getting whatever call they wanted, and ultimately just putting the Heat on their toes, trying to force them to put them in a position to do something, and they weren't reacting. We were actually watching this at Ale House. Shout out to the Zingers. And it was just a cushion. It was just a 10-point lead throughout the whole game. They finished with a 10-point lead. You just knew the Lakers had it in the bag pretty much. Jimmy Butler had 25 points. Jay Crowder helped them out with 12 points. Myers Leonard actually got the start, and he only finished with 7 points.
What's up with Danny Green? He only had 3 points per game.
Danny Green, man. Danny Green is almost like Duncan Robinson for the other team because Danny Green is over here missing his shots.
Like that.
0 points in game 1. He's disrespecting himself at that point. I mean, what else is there to it? But Kelly Olynyk came off the bench in game 2, and he came out with 24 points in 37 minutes. So that's where the series, they kind of found a little rhythm. They were down by 10 the whole time, but they kind of picked up the fact that they played better than game 1. Bam was out, so it kind of gave away from that threat going into the paint from the Heat. But the Lakers had a comfortable lead, and they won 124-114.
So, opposite of game 1, the Heat they had a horrible game 1. I think that was the worst start you could have ever imagined for game 1 for them. Game 2, they didn't play that bad offensively. They actually shot 50-40-90. They were 36 for 71 for 50.7% from the field. They made 11 3-pointers, but Lakers still hit more, which I'll get into that in a little bit too. But he were 11 of 27 for 40%. And then they were 91% from the free throw line. So they were efficient offensively. This is the type of game that I showed you where Bam was going to be missing. And it showed on the defensive end and offensive rebounding. Lakers had 16 offensive rebounds. That was one possession. Anthony Davis was just going up. He looked like he was going against little kids, man. And, I love Jay Crowder. He plays hard. He has heart. But, Jay Crowder cannot be guarding Anthony Davis in the paint like that. And LeBron also had a good game, too. Like you said, he had 33, 9, and 9. But, that game, Lakers were shredding apart their zone. And can we talk about playoff Rondo? Why is this a thing?
He became a knockdown shooter.
Why is this a thing?
He became a knockdown shooter. He ended up with 16 points, and he averages about 7 to 8 points in the regular season. And he had a double-double. I mean, he had 10 assists.
10, yeah.
He was going crazy.
Yeah, man, that zone just got shredded.
The one thing I did tell him, though, that we've talked about before, I say that Anthony Davis is the best teammate LeBron James has had on a dominant standpoint. And when he plays like that, no one can stop him. But that's the problem. That's the problem when it comes to Anthony Davis, because it's almost like when he wants to be. Because some games he's kind of just lurking in the shadows, not really doing much, and that's not what the Lakers need. The Lakers can't play like that if they do that. But game 2, they were just dominating entirely. So yeah, Kyle Kuzma was helping them out with 11 points. Markieff Morris were helping out with 6 points. That's all they're there for. They're there to spot up, knock down some threes, because that's all they need. They got LeBron James going into the paint, Anthony Davis going into the paint, Dwight Howard dominating the paint, dish it out and hit some shots.
Like you said, Myers Leonard got the start. I actually thought we would get more Myers Leonard, especially without Bam. I thought they would have a bigger body out there, Myers Leonard's not that bad. Going into that game, last time Myers Leonard started a playoff game, he did have 30 points. They still got swept by Golden State. That was last year in the playoffs, but I didn't expect him at 30, but I definitely thought he would play a little bit more. Kelly Olynyk, he definitely gives the Heat a different look than Bam. Obviously, it didn't help them game 2 get the dub, but I think they found something in that they could play different stretches, give the Heat different looks, so they could definitely use that later on in the series. So we actually talked about this earlier. You were saying that the Heat don't need Bam to continue the way Olynyk is playing, but imagine them two together, especially the way AD took off game 2. If they at least have Bam to put a body on him, I'm not saying he's gonna stop him, but he could definitely try to contain him.
But this is the thing. I mean, it's not like Olynyk wasn't at their disposal game 1. We're not going to act like Olynyk wasn't on the team. They were both active game 1, and they both didn't do anything. That's what I'm saying.
You see, that's why I feel like game 1, if you're going to lose, if you're going to lose a game by 1 or if you're going to lose by 30, either way, they were down 0-1. But they found something. They still found something. Those minutes at the end of the game, I know we said it was garbage time. It really wasn't. They have to find value in them. That's where Kendrick Nunn, like I said, he did shine game 1, so it did give them confidence to use him on later in the series, and that's where Olynyk actually did. He did show that he can be valuable in the series, and we definitely saw it game 2, and we also saw it in game 3. What happened in game 3, Josh?
Thought you wanted to take it because obviously this is your one shining moment with the Heat. So you
I'll get to them in a little
might as well
bit.
take it while it's there. Go ahead. Take it while it's there. Go ahead.
Jimmy effing Butler. Those are the words of Eric Spoelstra in the post-game press conference. What more is there to say about Jimmy Butler, guys? Here's a stat for you guys. He's the first player in LeBron's career to outscore him, out-rebound him, and out-assist him in the same game. He out-LeBroned LeBron.
Oh, my God.
No, that's what... I don't want to hear it, and that's exactly what it came down to. He out-LeBroned LeBron. Keep in mind, playing 45 minutes, only getting 3 minutes of rest. Guys, especially down the stretch, Jimmy Butler showed why he came to Miami. You know, the first thing when I was watching this game that came into my mind, when Jimmy Butler picked the Heat, he said, people act like I'm not good at basketball. And when I was watching this game, I was like, yo, Jimmy Butler's really good at basketball. He's just a basketball player.
We're in the finals now. I hope.
He's a baller. That's all I know.
What are they gonna say? He's not good at basketball.
Well, apparently the way people counted us off, they didn't think he was.
The Heat as a whole, I don't think anyone thought that Jimmy Butler is not a good player, but the Heat themselves.
Who was it that predicted the Heat were gonna make it? Kendrick Perkins. Was that who it was?
Kendrick Perkins hopped on the bandwagon, hopped right off in the finals.
He had to. It was going against LeBron.
Yeah, that's one of LeBron's his people that he has in his little.
One of his little people.
Yeah, one of his little people that he has in the media planting seeds for y'all. If y'all don't know, that's what Perkins does. But yeah, Jimmy Butler, definitely. That's what you call carrying a team on your back. That's what it looked like. Because last night, like we mentioned, Tyler Hero started game 2. He also started game 3. He ended up with 17 points. He shot 6 of 18. And I don't want to say the moment got too bright for him. I mean, definitely he didn't have his best game, but at the end he started hitting some shots. He got the end one at the end on Rondo. He gave you that little snare, that little flare.
Get this little dog out of here. He look like Chihuahua doing something. I mean.
Yeah, but Kelly Olynyk also had a big game as well. We're going to definitely talk about this more, but tell me why you think the Heat are better offensively with Olynyk than Bam.
All right, so the final score for the game was 115-104. The Heat taking it, obviously. And all game, it just showed that Bam is a good driver, driving to the basket. He also has a little mid-range game, but he does not extend to the three-point line. And we know he does not shoot better than even Myers Leonard. He doesn't shoot better than Myers Leonard. He doesn't shoot better than Olynyk. So during the game, if you watch, pretty much what Jimmy Butler was doing down the stretch was isolating and getting to the basket. Nobody was able to come off and help because everyone can shoot the three on the Heat team in that little run that they had. Olynyk, he stretches the floor for them. He drops on the defensive side when it comes to Bam, because obviously Bam is a great defender and Olynyk has nothing close to that. But Olynyk has that three that you kind of have to respect.
Playoff
Kelly. No. He had 24 points last game, game 2, and then he had 17 points this game. Obviously a little less points because they kind of knew, hey, he's going to play more minutes. We got to start guarding him more. But it allows them to stick to their player and just Jimmy Butler isolate himself and go to work, get to his spot and get his thing. So props to the Heat. The Heat, Spoelstra's a great coach. Spoelstra knew how his players play and got him in the right position to play. Jimmy Butler dominated. He played 45 minutes and had 40 points. That's crazy. They also limited Anthony Davis, and this is the problem. That's the problem when it comes to Anthony Davis. He's such a dominant player, but at certain moments, he just drops and he lurks in the shadows. Like I said, he only had 15 points in 33 minutes. You can't have that. If you're the Lakers and you're in the NBA Finals, Anthony Davis cannot have under 20 points. I told you last series with the Heat, Jimmy Butler cannot have under 20 if they're going to get a win. And I think the main takeaway from this is that you have to look at it. The Lakers did not play that great of a game, and it took the Heat to win 45 minutes out of Jimmy Butler putting up 40 points. That's what they needed to win. They needed every single point out of that 40 points to try to get that dub. And like I said, props to them for doing it. Do I think they can continue doing that? No, I don't think they continue doing that. Like I said in the beginning when we made our predictions for this series, I said that the Lakers would take it in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 5, but I saw them taking it in 6 because I respect the Heat. I respect what they can do, but I don't see them winning the series. They're not going to win this series. And if they truly do want to, Jimmy Butler's going to have to go out there, put up 45 minutes and 40 points. And here's another point I want to key on. I mean, if you look at how the Lakers played everyone in the playoffs so far, their top player on that team was getting double teamed, and they would have to dish it out to someone else. Look at Damian Lillard. Look at James Harden. Look at Jamal Murray. The Lakers double teamed them, made a dish out. So why would you allow Jimmy Butler to get whatever he wanted, get to his spot, and just shred you guys? Because the Lakers straight up let it happen. They didn't switch anything up. So I expect it to change in the upcoming games. That, hey, if Jimmy Butler truly wants to get that, he better be fighting through that double team, and he's going to end up with 20 assists if he keeps going at this rate because they need to get the ball out of Jimmy Butler's hands and put it to other guys. Like he said, Azil said, Tyler Hero, he ended with 17 points, but he was shooting terrible. I think he was at 3 for 16 at one point. And then Duncan Robinson, he finished with 13 points, but if you watch that game, he was not shooting lights out or anything like that. He put up 39 minutes and only 13 points. I mean, make them make the shot. The Heat are a good shooting team, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. And I would put them in the position that they need to knock down the shots. So I expect an adjustment. LeBron James, he ended with 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. So definitely not a bad game from LeBron James, but he had too many turnovers, way too many turnovers. He had 8 assists. They had 8 turnovers in the first quarter alone. So you can't win basketball that way. You can't win a basketball game like that. So they need to tighten up their play, and they need to make some adjustments because if not, if they keep allowing Jimmy Butler to get to a spot and let him do what he's doing, I'm not even worried about Bam Adebayo coming back. He played in game 1, like I said, and he wasn't even a factor. So I'm just worried about Jimmy Butler getting to a spot because ultimately he just took over the game. He took over the game, got what he wanted, and that's why they beat the Lakers.
Could we stop that notion that the Lakers just had a bad game? Because I mean, Markieff Morris and Kuzma, they both had 19 off the bench. And Morris hit some big shots. And let's not forget in the fourth quarter, Morris hit a 3 to tie it up 89-89. Next possession, Rondo came down, hit a layup with about 9 minutes. And they did take the lead in that game. So they were still in position to win that game. Yeah, definitely Howard, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Green, they had 11 points combined between the three. But you still got production off your bench, like I said. So maybe they didn't play their best game, but I definitely think it's due to the adjustments that the Heat did have. They definitely played more man, less zone. Their zone was getting shredded. It started getting shredded by Boston. I think Lakers used that to their advantage looking at the tape, so they definitely knew how to attack it better. Another thing that he did on defense, they stopped switching Duncan Robinson on LeBron. It sounds like so simple, like the easiest switch, but they still did it in game 2, and it was getting me angry. Duncan Robinson, I love him. He's a shooter. He definitely needs to shoot better, but no one accused him of playing defense. So Definitely, they decided not to switch him on to LeBron. Let's talk about that fourth quarter where Jimmy Butler delivered in the clutch. One thing, you were talking about that you wanted them to double Jimmy Butler. You definitely showed that he's willing to find the open man, so I don't think that's a problem. And I actually think doubling him kind of plays into his strength a little bit. I know last night he definitely knew he had to be aggressive coming out, and that's kind of what he did from the jump. He kind of gave the Lakers a little... You had to punch them early. He gave them a little punch. But, yeah, he's definitely... If you watch Jimmy Butler's game, he likes to ease into the game. So he definitely likes to get his teammates involved a little bit. He knew he couldn't do that, but once at the end the Lakers tried to adjust, he was more than willing. You saw he gave Kelly Olynyk a good pass, a hook-around pass. Kelly Olynyk hit a big-time three. But this performance by Jimmy Butler, it's up there in one of the best I've seen in my lifetime. I think... So, guys, there's been 3 40-point triple-doubles in the NBA Finals. One was by LeBron, and one was by Jerry West in the 60s. The LeBron one came in a loss in 2015 against the Warriors. But, guys, Jimmy Butler was outmanned. The Lakers have LeBron and AD, 2 top 5 players. That's what makes this so impressive. Jimmy Butler was outmanned, and he did this to LeBron. And especially on the other end, guarding LeBron. LeBron had 8 turnovers. 7 of them came against Jimmy Butler. And could we not ignore the job that he did on defense as well? He just LeBron.
He did.
That's it. That simple.
This is the point, though, talking about how the Lakers were playing bad. Like I said, props to the Heat. The Heat did play a good game. But if you have 11 points coming from 3 of your starters in the starting lineup, that's not how you win.
You can't have it all.
If you switch over to the Heat starting lineup, does it look like the other 3 or the other 4 had 11 points? No, they did not. So even in a game like this, in crunch time, they were still in the game to win this game. And that's what I think is the key part. The Lakers played a bad game. The Heat played a good game, one of their better games of the series, and yet it was still a close game.
Definitely their best game of the series, but I still think Miami... If Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson start hitting shots and it starts raining, the Lakers are in trouble because they had a chance to go up 3-0 and they didn't do it, and the Heat are about to get the heart of their team back. Bam Adebayo. He's coming back and he's injecting life into their team right now.
That's a big if, though. If Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. I mean...
they're definitely capable of doing it.
If Danny Green can start shooting, they're going to play a lot better
Danny
too, right?
Green showed you.
I mean, Danny Green had 2 points.
He's showed you every game that he cannot. He's not going to deliver.
That's the thing, though. I mean, we're 3 games in, and Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson are still struggling. So, I mean, that's a big if you want them to turn around and start knocking jump shots. I know they're capable, but this is the finals now. They've never been in the finals before, and they're kind of showing that they're a little rusty when it comes to this. Out LeBron, that is a whole different topic itself. I mean,
did it not happen?
Yes, he had more rebounds, more assists, more points. But I mean, okay, he had 1 more rebound. All right, he had 3 more assists. Okay, like at the end of the day, if the Lakers start making jump shots and making the open looks that LeBron gives them every single game, he easily has the same amount. So I mean, like. Another thing, though, I mean, this is one game.
Salty.
This is one game. Everyone's taking it so out of proportion that.
So if the Heat come back and they win another game, are you gonna stand with your point, saying that it's just another bad game?
No, I mean we have to see how they play. If the Lakers play a good game and still lose, that's gonna be a problem. That's easily gonna be a problem. But like once again, that's a big if. I mean, the Heat didn't show any life in the first 2 games. They showed more life in Game 3. You just have to hope they play the same way in Game 4 because it takes a 40-point outing from Jimmy Butler and playing 45 minutes for them to get 1 dub.
So what's your panic level right now?
I'm not panicking.
I'm not worried at all.
The Lakers are
Lakers
still up.
5.
The Lakers are still up 2-1.
He's like the Lakers are still gonna win in 4. Watch.
They'll find a way to come back and do it.
I mean, in the beginning, Azil said Heat in 3, and I mean, it took them 3 games to get 1 win. So I don't see them taking it. But we can talk about Game 4 now. Our prediction for it.
Well, let's talk about LeBron walking off the court early. What is that all about?
It's not a big deal. I mean, he just walked off the court with 10 seconds.
10 seconds left.
It's just a bigger deal because the shot clock was ahead of the game clock, so they had to stop and whistle and then make the Lakers take out the ball because it was shot clock. That made it a big deal. It's really not a big deal. He walked off the court. got irritated. It is what it is. I mean, I think that LeBron really wanted a sweep for his legacy because he wanted to have that in his inventory when you look at what LeBron has done. And obviously, he was in it. He was in his game plan trying to win. Anthony Davis did not help him. Markieff Morris and Kyle Kuzma had more points than Anthony Davis. And when that's going to happen, man, the Lakers aren't going to have a good recipe to win. So, but yeah, LeBron was just irritated. I mean, it is what it is. Everyone's making a big deal because it's disrespectful or whatever. I mean, this isn't like Isaiah Thomas walking off the court and not shaking anybody's hand. It's not to that magnitude. So,
I can't blame LeBron. If Jimmy Butler ate my lunch the way
I
would have walked off the court too.
Oh my god.
Oh man, Jimmy definitely gave it to him. He was a little salty about it. So I mean, hey, he was trying to hit the showers early. I can't blame him. When what just happened to him, yeah, I don't blame him.
I mean, all right, keep it up. I hope Jimmy Butler keeps it up, and I hope he keeps up to his word, saying
He's
that
like, I
they're in
hope
trouble.
the Heat win.
I mean, Jimmy Butler didn't do this game 1, game 2. So what makes you think it's going to happen in game 4 as well?
No one thought it would happen in game 3, but it happened.
Hey, it's one game. At the end of the day, it's one game. They're still down in the series.
The Lakers only won 2 games.
2 games, though. I mean, and dominating fashion.
And if the Heat win another one, then it's just 2 games, too.
They're going to have to win.
Well, I'm actually gonna pick them tomorrow. I definitely have them tying it up.
You have no choice. When would you pick the Lakers? When would you pick the Lakers?
I picked the Lakers game 1, and they did.
I think that's your fault, man. They got murdered
Yeah,
by
it was
30
my
points. They got murdered by 30
Yeah, I
points.
should never pick them, but so I did pick the Lakers game 1. I'm picking the Heat game 4. Like I said, I definitely think it's definitely going to uplift the Heat seeing their teammate go out there and Bam, knowing that he is actually dealing with the injury, so he knows that he wanted to be out there with his teammates. I think it's going to uplift their spirits. I think they're going to come out. They know the Lakers are going to have an adjustment. There's no way they're not. LeBron, I think especially Anthony Davis, he's definitely going to come out early, try to get more involved into the offense. Lakers had 10 turnovers first quarter, by the way, game 3. I definitely think they're going to try to clean it up a little bit on the offensive end. You're going to see Anthony Davis get more touches on the inside, but I think the Heat still find a way, man. Jimmy Butler's just too confident, and I think with Bam coming in, I think they find a way. It's definitely going to be closer. This one ended up being 11. I got the Heat game 4. I got them 107 to 101. 6-point lead game.
Who you got, Christian?
I gotta go for the Heat, man. You gotta go for it. Jimmy Butler's gonna go 34 points. Watch.
All right. I mean,
Tyler Hero's gonna go 32. I'm just kidding.
right.
Tyler Hero's gonna go for like 20 something.
you already know I got the Lakers. I mean, like I said, this was a phenomenal game. I gave the respect to the Heat. I said that before the series began. I give them the respect. They made it here for a reason. They have a great coach, and they have a great team full of role players that play well. But they're going to need to play well, and they're going to need every single point out of them because I got them the Lakers taking game 4. I got them winning it about 110 to 100, winning by 10. LeBron's going to come out hungry. LeBron does not want to lose this series. He never obviously wants to. But if he loses this series, this is going to be detrimental to his legacy, very bad. So, yeah, they definitely need a big outing from Anthony Davis.
Do you still think he cares about legacy, or do you
He definitely
does.
Or do you think he just cares about winning?
I mean, he knows the winning's going to impact his legacy.
They kind of go hand in hand.
But
not to get ahead of ourselves, but if he loses this one being up, they're calling this the most undermanned team in the NBA Finals. You know what they said when the Heat lost game 1? Why are they in the finals?
Yep.
That's literally what they said. So if he ends up losing to this team, for me, the GOAT debate is already closed. There's no way he's answering that. If he loses this one, it's done. Forever. There's no way.
It's done.
He's not coming back into that conversation. And I need you to, Josh, say it with me. If he loses this series, it's over.
My thing is he's not going to lose.
But if he does lose, is he not even considered as the GOAT anymore?
If he does lose, this is detrimental. And I'm not even going to get to that point because it's not going to happen. It's literally not going to happen. You're saying that the Heat are really going to beat them out. You can believe all you want, man. But at the end of the day, I got my money on LeBron. That's it. Yes, I got my money on LeBron. If anyone wants to throw money on it, just let me know. I got my money on LeBron. And deep down, Azil knows that his team is not worthy enough to beat the Lakers. He knows that deep down. And that's why once they do lose, everyone's going to be like, did we really expect them to lose? Dragic got hurt and Adebayo
But what if the
was
Heat
out.
win? What are they gonna say?
I hope they win. I hope they win in your guys' favor.
You hope
but
the Heat win. And
I hope they
Lakers
win in your favor.
It is fine,
I hope they win in
It's
your
gonna be a
favor. At the end of the day, y'all are
He's
just
like, why not
dreaming right now. You're literally just dreaming.
What is the taco commercial?
¿Por qué no los
¿Por qué
dos?
no los dos? But yeah, I mean, yeah, I got the Lakers winning this. By the time of our next episode,
The finals will be over.
will
The
be
champion
done.
will be crowned. We will talk all about that.
Jimmy Butler, first time champion. We'll definitely talk about that in the next pod.
Yeah, right. If Jay Crowder's gonna end up with another ring, man, another ring, that would be his first ring, would it not be?
Yes.
Yeah. So if he ends up with a ring, he was on a LeBron team and did not help him one bit. So
Was
that's
he with
gonna be
the Cavs,
something.
right?
Yeah, he was
Yes,
with
with the
them on the Cavs, and he played like Danny Green right now.
Yeah, he
pretty
couldn't
much.
throw the
He's
ball
kinda
into the
playing
ocean. Like, it was pretty
He's
bad.
kind of playing like Danny Green right now, but yeah, the Lakers still gonna take it. So yeah,
Guys, definitely want to talk about Uniqlo.
Oh my god.
You take your story on from here.
Man, we were trying to get shirts made for the podcast so we can wear on, and just wear it and show it off. And they have this new thing here at Disney Springs. It's one of 3 in the whole United States, and you can make like custom shirts and stuff like that.
this is not a plug. So don't
yeah,
let me
yeah. Nah.
We're not gonna share the
Hashtag
location.
boycott Uniqlo.
We're not gonna
Even
share
though I'm
the
wearing
location.
a Uniqlo shirt, but
Yeah.
it's cause, so I support cause, not Uniqlo. But yeah, I paid and everything like that, and then they were like, oh, you can't do it because of the name. And I was like, are you serious? And the manager was like, yeah, you can't do it and whatever like that. And so it was just basically like a whole mess. They had to refund my money, and we are getting shirts made for us. So be on the lookout for those because they're going to be fire and they're going to be black, all black with our logo on it. Something that Uniqlo could not do. They can only do white. And they were going to charge us more money. So hashtag boycott Uniqlo. And yeah, man, I was beyond mad after that whole thing.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
it's ridiculous. Obviously, we were seeing some turmoil over our name, but at the end of the day,
By a couple people.
by a couple.
But
But this is us. At the end of the day, this is us.
and we don't care, we like the name. If you think a different way about it, then you shouldn't think like that. We're just having fun with it. It's sports,
It's meant to have a funny, clever little hook. Hey, it's just balls in your face. And we're talking about sports.
Yeah,
We're not talking about
nothing-
anything else. So.
Nothing vulgar at all. And if anybody has a problem with it, don't watch, don't listen.
Yeah.
Don't support. We don't care. We're doing this for us. We're doing this for the people that actually want to watch. So
Yeah.
if it is a problem, you don't have to watch.
Yeah. We got a lot of love though. A lot of people do like our name. They do think it's clever, and
They think it's
obviously
funny.
we thought it was. We thought it was clever, and that's why we kept it. But yeah, boycott Uniqlo because they just hate it, man. Haters aren't motivators though,
They
so
can't
we're gonna
hold
keep
us
doing
down.
it.
They can't hold us
So
down.
yeah, we got cheaper shirts, better quality for the most part, and yeah, hopefully our next episode we'll probably have them. So
Yeah,
that'll
for
be
sure.
cool.
We'll
That'll be
definitely wear
fun.
'em. It'll be our staff uniform.
Our staff uniform every week. You gotta make sure it's washed and clean. But I did want to talk about something else because we know no disrespect to Kobe, but he did pass away. Everything that happened with that. So that was a tragedy within the NBA community, the Los Angeles community, the Lakers community, and everything like that. But then it brings to everyone's attention tragedies happen. This isn't the first tragedy to happen, and for a team to go this far.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would like to talk about that. 2013 Boston Marathon bombings. The Red Sox went all the way to the World Series. They won it, obviously. 2017 Hurricane Harvey, I think it was. The Astros went all the way. We found out they're cheating. It happens.
Yeah.
Anybody coming for the Red Sox? 2018. There's actually no proof. So
We didn't cheat.
we won fair and square. And then I was doing a little. I thought an NHL team. I thought Las Vegas won it after that shooting, but I think they just went to the playoffs. But then after 9/11, the Yankees actually went all the way to the World Series, but lost in Game 7 against. I think it was the Marlins, right? They won 2001.
Yeah, Marlins.
So
Ouch.
that's interesting because games can go either way. It definitely depends on referees and umpires and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So what if they were planning on the Yankees going all the way, winning it for 9/11, and then they didn't win it because something happened, whatever. But it does look interesting. Oh, 9/11, the Yankees are going all the way to Game 7.
And they lose.
That sells
Yeah.
a lot of tickets. That makes a lot of people tune in. there was some other stuff that I saw, articles that I read about, the Saints winning.
Yeah.
But that was like 4 years after.
Yeah, it was years later.
It was years later, so I mean, I don't know how that really connects. I'm pretty sure there was another team, and it said the Oakland A's back in '89 because there was a California earthquake.
Yeah, the earthquake.
But I'm pretty sure there was another team that was recent. But yeah, it just brings like the question, maybe the Lakers are playing really good, or maybe somebody in the NBA is like fixing this to happen, fixing it a certain way to be like, oh, the Lakers. No, I'm being for real. Conspiracies. But who knows? We don't know for sure if the Red Sox really won it, because I'm pretty sure they were doing bad before it. They were doing like a little. They weren't doing great. They weren't hot, and then that happened in April. So that kind of changed everything. It changed their mindset and everything like that. And then the Astros obviously cheated. That was a whole thing. We don't know how much they probably would have won, or even if maybe the MLB was in on it, trying to help them win, and they did this whole investigation, kind of cover it up and be like, oh no, whatever. But it kind of makes you think, what if the NBA is behind this, and because Kobe died, it's gonna sell more. They can't sell tickets, maybe, but sell merch.
More views.
Like definitely more views. Oh, Kobe died. They're wearing Mamba jerseys. The Lakers are in the finals. They're going to, who knows if the Lakers will go to Game 7. It makes it more interesting. The referees are definitely, doing what they have to do. Push it a certain way if they have to,
I think the conspiracies are definitely out there. It's been out there for a while. But, I mean, I still had the Lakers going this far beforehand. I'm sure a couple of people do. Automatically, when you have LeBron James on your team, you automatically think you're going to go to the finals. But, yeah, the moment Kobe did pass, everyone's just like, I mean, they're going to win it for Kobe now. Everyone kind of knew, the Lakers are going to make it this far and they're going to win. And, I mean, the Clippers losing 3-1 to the Nuggets, and then the Lakers playing the Nuggets, a.k.a. the weaker team. I don't know. The conspiracies are definitely out there.
And it's not to take away from the Lakers. They're a good team. It's not to take away from Kobe's death. It was definitely impactful and everything like that. And it could have been motivation. But on the other hand, it could have been something that the NBA capitalized on and was like, we need to put the Lakers finals champions. That's it. They already knew it in mind. And it's just something to bring up. It's not something that I personally maybe believe in. I definitely have thoughts of it, and, it crosses my mind every few times. And, even though the Lakers aren't my team, but the Red Sox were my team. And it was definitely cool, being in Boston during all that happening, and then watching, I remember crying watching the Red Sox win the World Series. And it was like, this is probably the best day of my life, watching them, going to the parade and all that. It's something that really brought the city together. And especially, maybe even after 9/11, the New York City was rallying behind their team and saying, go Yankees, and it was something for them to believe in. And same thing with the Astros, they won after the hurricane. I think it was pretty much 2 months after the Hurricane Harvey hit and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's definitely something for Lakers fans to be behind, especially, being, older people being from the Kobe era, loving Kobe and, saying do this for Kobe and everything like that. So, I mean, it's just something to think about. I just wanted to bring it up because I definitely thought about it. I wanted to bring it up on the first podcast, but I was like, nah, let me just wait. But that's just one point of view, another way to look at it. If sports are fixed in a way to be, push a certain narrative. So
the narrative itself, I mean, LeBron against his former team. That's one. That's another one. I mean, that brings in a lot of box office because I mean, this hasn't happened before. Such a marquee player like LeBron James going against a former team, and the Heat being the underdog in every single game in the playoffs and somehow making it to the finals to play against LeBron. That's just another one, man.
It's like if Michael Jordan with the Wizards won against the Bulls.
Yeah, exactly.
Somehow, some way.
In the conference finals or something like that. But no, he was too old and rusty to even take him there. So
gosh. Let's just say Jordan did in 13 years what it's taking LeBron 17 years to do.
Because he couldn't make it to year 17. But all right.
Well, that's another podcast for another day. We'll talk about who the GOAT really is.
One day. We're going to have a special GOAT episode. We're going to have a whole bunch of specials, GOAT special.
We will. We'll definitely get into that.
But Game 4 is coming up tomorrow. Today is Monday. Tomorrow is Tuesday.
Shout out to the Yankees. The Yankees better win Game 1 today against the Rays. We will be covering baseball soon for all you baseball lovers. I know Azil's dad. If I was still But yeah, shout out to the Yankees.
That's another thing. The Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup Finals. Tampa Bay Rays are in the playoffs.
Oh,
they
man.
made it past. The Marlins made it past. And the Buccaneers have Tom Brady. So if a whole
and the Heat are in the finals.
And the Heat are in the
so
finals. I forgot about that. So
it's good to be from Florida.
if a whole bunch of Florida teams win, not necessarily from the same city like Tampa Bay, but if a whole bunch of Florida teams win the championships, that would be something crazy in itself, and maybe even another conspiracy to look into.
Yeah.
But game
But
four,
until next week.
balls in your conspiracies in your face. Game 4 is tomorrow. Game 5 is Friday. As Josh said, he wouldn't be surprised if it ended in Game 5. And then Game 6 is Sunday, and Game 7 is Tuesday. So this might not even be over if it's going to Game 7.
Oh man,
We
it'll be over. It'll be
In
over.
my prediction, I said Game 7, so we'll talk about this.
We
It'll be over.
might be talking about the Heat and the Lakers next episode.
It'll be over.
Tied up going to Game 7. How? Yeah, but that goes into conspiracy. You know, Kobe died. They're pushing to Game 7. We'll see what happens though.
Mama mentality. No, rest in peace, Kobe. Though I'm not making fun of him. Though.
Yeah, rest in peace to Kobe, man. But are they gonna wear their Mamba jerseys again? Do you know?
They better. They're undefeated. So I mean, if it gets to a Game 7, you better throw on the Mama jersey.
If they win a Game 7, man, that just pushes even more.
My personal theory, I think they're gonna save it till their next closeout game if they make it that far. We'll see if it gets that far.
That would be interesting. I remember seeing on like ESPN's Instagram, like they were like, LeBron hit the 81st point at 8 minutes and 20. I was like, that's kind of a stretch.
It's so. I think it was
They're
a stretch too.
stretching
It was a stretch.
They're stretching
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
But what are your predictions then for Game 5? Because they have to make it to Game 5 at least.
Lakers ended in 5. I got 6, but I don't know. They're too strong.
Heat will tie it up Game 4. Lakers take Game 5.
And
Heat
they
take Game
take
6.
Game
Game 7
7.
for grabs.
Alright.
So
That would be crazy if it does go to Game 7 though.
Hey, I'm gonna start thinking of some like excuses to make. Miami's home. They're in Florida. That's all I'm gonna throw out there.
yeah, Miami's the home team.
I'm gonna have to find something. It won't get there though, so we're all good.
We'll see what happens, I guess. Damn, another crazy Game 7 next week. But I think that's all for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed the NBA special, everything NBA. We hope you enjoyed our table cover that we put so much effort into buying. We didn't make it. But yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. If you guys have anything else to say.
Lakers in 5.
Heat on 3, Heat on 3. 1, 2, 3, Heat. So we're out, y'all.
Such
Peace.
losers.
Make
Alright,
sure to go
y'all.
follow our Instagram, Balls in Your Face, the podcast. Make sure to leave a like if you like the video. Leave a comment on what you want to see next week. And yeah, I think that's all.
Peace.
Adios.